What's up, my PT peeps? One Eye Bri back to talk about The Walking Dead Season 7, Episode 7. We're talking about some spoilers, review, recap, and discussion. Obviously, spoiler warning if you haven't seen the episode, don't want to know about the episode, and just in general, Season 7, Episode 7, spoilers are coming, and here we go. Now, overall, I thought the episode was really good. I thought it was probably the best episode so far of Season 7. Just a lot of good things happen. Started off with Michonne going down, taking out some walkers, whistling, farming the Dell, wire, callback to Omar. If you don't know what I'm talking about, made a couple of videos about it. But we didn't know Michonne's plan until it was to basically block the road off, and it was pretty cool. It was a pretty great idea where she meets the savior Isabel, and they go after Negan, and we'll see what happens with that. We didn't get any conclusion with that, where they're going and what they're doing, but she takes out some walkers pretty easily, Michonne style. That's what I love about her. She's pretty awesome, badass Michonne. And I thought it was a good mix of Michonne and then Carl and Rick and Aaron and Jesus and Daryl. And we got to see a bunch of different people in the episode. Rosita, Spencer, Father Gabriel, Eugene, Aaron and Rick are in the truck. They go out and we didn't get to see what they find or anything, but they started that whole thing. Then we got Jesus in the truck, in the van with Carl. Carl kind of messes with him and tells him to go first, knowing that Carl's never going to jump. He marks the path around where they're at to mark it around the statue, and it was pretty good with the syrup on there too, making a trail, making a path, making a way to mark it so he knows where to get back and where to come back. And that's what Jesus does, man. Jesus is smart. He knows what to do. He's a survivor. He sneaks around. And at the end of the episode, he's on top of the truck, and then he's not on top of the truck anymore. So we don't know what's going to happen with that. Hopefully, we'll find out next episode. This is where he bails out of the truck. I thought it was really good. And he came back. He somehow got to the Saviors. And did you catch the part with the truck that was down when the two Saviors were in it? And Jesus and Carl were in the back hiding. But that whole thing with the walkers played a big part later on that we found out with Mark and Fat Joey. Then we get to the sanctuary, which is awesome. The CGI of the top part of the sanctuary was pretty cool. That's actually the Raleigh Studios part of it right there. Fat Joey, remember, he was put in charge of directing the walkers, and Mark decided not to do it, and that was the problem later on. We'll see. Straight out the comics, Carl and Negan, comic book lines all over the place, and we got some of that. Negan takes Carl, around the sanctuary for some reason. Carl gets captured, basically taken around, not really a prisoner like Daryl, but Daryl, steps up and he's like, you can't hurt this kid. You touch this kid, we're going to be a problem. And he's there, not broken by any means. And Negan's like, all right, buddy, good luck with that. And puts him back in his cell when he gets the help down the road. Comic book stuff, the lines are all over the place. It's pretty awesome to see that. I like the way they moved pretty throughout the episode with Carl and Negan, when Negan's like, hey, watch this. He's bragging. He's showing off to Carl about, look at all the power I have over these people. And that usually doesn't play well in a dictatorship because you will eventually get overthrown. It has to, right? Carl, Negan has a weird relationship. You can see it where he's doing stuff that he should have been done with his dad and Rick and whatever. But Negan, he's busting his balls. He's doing things there too, and he forgets that he's a kid numerous times. And it's kind of a crazy aspect too. You see the ping pong table all the way to the left. I wonder if they're going to eventually go back to that to show that like in the comics. Rosita and Eugene go out to make a bullet to get that going, which is going to play maybe a big factor down the road, maybe not. Spencer, everyone hates Spencer. That should be a new show. Then we get the harem of wives. They're all in black. I counted 5 or 6 wives in there, just like that. Amber, Sherry, just went down just like the comic. There's some of Negan's wives with Sherry looking on during the iron thing with Mark. Sherry, do you like her? Not like her. She's pretty defiant against them. There's the Amber, just like the comic. We'll show you in here if you want to pause it. Carl, Amber getting talked to. You want to leave, can do anything with that. And the Mark, the iron thing was pretty cool. It wasn't as graphic as I thought it would be, but it was pretty great. I thought they did a really good job with it. And, just like the comic. That's all I keep saying is just like the comic because it really was. Sherry, what do you think about Sherry? Do you like her? Hate her? Think she's annoying? Did she the one that helped Daryl? I think so. I would put my money on Sherry helping Daryl, if anything. I would think so. Or maybe Jesus did. Who knows? We don't know who it is, right? Because he was there at the end. Did you see him on top of the truck? Aaron, Rick, go out to get stuff. We didn't really see too much of that. The boat with the walkers and the houseboat at the end. Father Gabriel and Spencer, they have it out. You kind of like Father Gabriel. You know, he's like, I'm going back. Enough of this guy. But Spencer kind of stepped up a little bit there, too, where he got the bow and arrow with the walker and the supplies. Spencer actually did something pretty good in the episode, you know, by getting the supplies and all that. Thought, you know, Spencer kind of turned around very minimally on there. The walker was pretty great with the arms ripping off, and it was pretty awesome. There wasn't too many walkers in this episode, besides the ones at the sanctuary. At the whole time, we're like, who was watching Judith? Who's watching Judith? We don't know, you know, because Carl was gone, Father Gabriel was gone, but Olivia was watching Judith, as we found out. Then the whole more comic stuff, takes the bandage off, you know, breaks him down. Carl cries a couple times. You feel bad for Carl a little bit, but he cries like a man, damn it, like I said before in the other stuff, in the other videos that we made. Carl, Negan, you know, that relationship is kind of weird, but that is in the comics, and they're playing it true to the TV, or on TV on the show. The eye looked great. I thought it was done really, really well. He wasn't allowed to put his bandage back on, sang it just like this, started to break down and cry while Negan swinging his bat around. It was kind of weird. But then we get to the iron. We actually get to it there too. And I thought they replicated this pretty well. You see Daryl waiting to just, everyone's watching it. You feel like Daryl, the white feels for Mark, that's for sure, with the whole iron situation. We're probably not going to see Dwight's iron. That was probably the last thing we'll see with the iron. Negan does one of his speeches, his monologues. The rules are in place for a reason. The rules keep us alive. He said all these lines just like that. Sorry, Mark. It is what it is. See? All done. Now, is that so bad? You know, it was just great to see it replicated. I thought Negan was actually pretty funny in this episode. He said, passed out. Pussy peed himself. Daryl had to clean it up. Thought the new people did pretty well. They had minimal roles. I mean, Mark sat there tied up. Amber just cried a little bit. Isabel got knocked the hell out and beat up by Michonne, which was great. And, you know, that's probably it for those people besides Isabel, who we're going to find out in episode 8 to see what happens with her and Michonne, Rosita, and Eugene. And they're at the Bullet Factory. They fight it out a little bit. Did you see the exact way this was open when the door got pushed open? Abraham was taken place by Rosita. Eugene's place was just like that. Rosita basically convinces Eugene to do what she wants, but breaks him down in the process. Kind of similar scene here like in episode 3 when they were just talking to each other. I would think Sherry helped Daryl, but I'm not sure. They had these lines just like this without the physical altercation, you know, jump out the window, you know, it was kind of crazy. Carl's still fighting back and talking back, you know. Jesus on top of the truck happened super fast, and then they pan out, and then he's gone. So is he the one that helps Daryl? I don't know. I really don't know. So I would like to know how it goes down next episode. Olivia was pretty funny with Negan, slaps Negan, you know, couldn't stand for it. But this guy opens up the gate. He'll be back in episode 8 to see how it goes down. Negan's rocking Judith. Negan at the porch just taking over Alexandria. Hey, neighbor, you know, kind of funny like that, too. So what'd you think of the episode overall, guys? I thought it was great. Thought it was pretty hilarious. And as always, guys, you guys are awesome. Thank you for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Subscribe today to get more videos. Check out our Walking Dead community page on Facebook. Definitely join that. Like our page and our group. As always, guys, thank you for watching.